Right now, 40-22 and about a half minute to go.
We'll take one more knee right here, but it just became official. Jalen Hurts has been named the MVP of Super Bowl 59. Well-deserved, almost 300 total yards once again this evening.
Kick it again to a knee, and that's it. The clock will continue to go down from 20 seconds. So if Super Bowl 52 was framed as the Philly special, this has got to be Eagle voodoo here in New Orleans as they found the magic spell on the two-time defending champion Chiefs, stopping them with an incredible performance. The bench is empty, the teams converge, and this one is over. And the Eagles have beaten the Chiefs convincingly in Super Bowl 59, 40-22.
And Pickett will take the football and take the knee. And that's going to round it up. We will count down these seconds for you.
That'll do it, boys and girls.
They are jamming the field. 18, 17, 16, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's over. The Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59. They have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. It's their second Super Bowl win in 7 years. What a game. What a season. What a team. The greatest Eagles team in modern history. Eagles fans, savor it and rejoice.
And all I just gotta say is, wow. As the Philadelphia Eagles put the Kansas City Chiefs three-peat quest to bed a couple nights ago in New Orleans at the Caesars Superdome, the Philadelphia Eagles are the 2024 Super Bowl 59 champions. Their second Super Bowl in their franchise history. Their second in 8 years. And again, everybody, welcome to the Metal Steel Podcast. We're yours truly, Charles Prodigy Richey. Definitely want to just share my thoughts. Just definitely a true dominating defensive performance, true dominating team performance all around. As Philadelphia Eagles set all kinds of records in that game. They're in the top 10 when you look at that Super Bowl. I mean, as far as everything went on a couple nights ago and pretty much almost everything that went wrong. I mean, look at one of the very first things. The Eagles are tied for second right now with 6 team sacks in the game. They're also right now in the all-time Super Bowl era when it comes to points off turnovers. They are tied for 5th with 24 points off their opponent's turnovers, including 4 and outs. And then you look at as far as like blowouts is concerned in this one. I mean, another one that was just a really just incredible, like dominating performance right here. I mean, just 40-22, which, by the way, the total points that were scored in that game right now for the Philadelphia Eagles, that is 9th right there behind their last Super Bowl, which they scored against the Patriots, came a point shy. I mentioned their high when they won their very first Super Bowl. And here we are. And you've seen the fruition that came to work right now when we look at just overall, like, can it ever be done? Run first quarterbacks, by the way, here. Jalen Hurts, who was drafted in the second round, 53rd overall in the 2020 NFL Draft, which proved to be Doug Pearson's final year with the Eagles before they fired him, Super Bowl winning coach, and moved on to Nick Sirianni. And it didn't take long for them to figure things out. They got in the playoffs under Jalen Hurts in his second season. And when you progress, you look at the timeline, First year they lost in the wild card round to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Second year they make it to their very first Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts' second year as a starter, only to come up shy by a field goal in that game. Uh, 30, 38-35. Now, of course, there was a strip fumble return for a touchdown in that game, as well as a questionable illegal contact towards the end, which set up the game-winning field goal for the Chiefs. And you look at it too. I mean, Jalen Hurts outpassed Patrick Mahomes in each of those games. But I mean, just really think about that and just what they did the second time around. And now Jalen Hurts has got something that guys like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. I mean, all these quarterbacks right now we talk about who are like the cream of the crop in today's age, with the exception of Joe Burrow, where these are more mobile quarterbacks. I mean, where they're run first, then pass. This has always definitely been a questionable. Patrick Mahomes, you could technically argue, was one of the very first ones to do it. I mean, in his career, I mean, he's 3-2 right now in Super Bowls, and for right now, the GOAT legacy definitely put on pause for right now as we continue to look at the greatness of Patrick Mahomes as he continues to try and chase greatness. He is still one shy of Joe Montana with 4, who's never lost in the Super Bowl. And then, of course, Tom Brady, the recognized GOAT right now. I mean, winning 7 Super Bowls. Now, let's not forget, Tom Brady did go through at least a 10-year. He went through like an 11-year period until he won his 4th Super Bowl. 11 years, which was pretty insane. I mean, for that Patriots team to win their next one, and they finally broke through against the Seahawks after losing along the way twice in Super Bowls to Eli Manning's Giants with Tom Coughlin's defense. One of those which Michael Strahan went out on top in Super Bowl 42, being part of the team that stopped the Patriots' perfect season. Now, I think right now, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, who definitely seemed very humble after the game. Of course, I mean, a lot of the Eagles players going into this game seem to be a little bit disrespected by hearing the term three-peat being highlighted. Of course, Kansas City Chiefs. But I mean, a lot of people just really just tend to question right now. I mean, just trying to do it in these stages with an added game added in, where it's 17 game seasons, shorter training camp, shorter preseason. How you continue to just maintain this level of consistency? There's a lot of question marks right now. I mean, falling around this Chiefs team. More particularly, have we seen the last of Travis Kelce right now? One of arguably the game's greatest tight ends. I mean, who's definitely been having a lot on his plate. I mean, being part of this championship success, and of course, you couple with the last couple of years being in the spotlight, dating Taylor Swift, and all the camera time she's been getting spotted being in the skybox, enjoying Travis on the field during their post-victory celebrations. It's just definitely, I mean, you look at him, I mean, he is definitely right now, you look at his other brother, Kelsey, who just seems to just have fun playing this game. But you can just definitely tell, like, the look on their face. I mean, the Chiefs, who definitely looked drained throughout this game. They looked overwhelmed. I mean, for the Eagles to get 6 sacks on the Chiefs throughout this game, without having to blitz anybody, their defensive front, that's pretty much like having like the feds come over to your house and they find something in your background. They find a way to get access to someone's house and take someone away for corruptive charges or whatever in their background. That's pretty much what the Eagles did to the Chiefs line. They won the battle up front on both sides of the ball. Saquon Barkley, who didn't really have one of his best games in this contest, he definitely finished out the contest, running for 57 yards off of 25 carries, 2.3. It almost kind of reminds me of one of the Super Bowls too, where like the Chicago Bears had like their dominance against like the New England Patriots. I think Walter Payton in that game, I think he was held about 75 rushing yards, where the Patriots put so much attention on trying to make sure they shut down Walter Payton, but then they forgot about everybody else. And the Bears dominated them. They won that game 46-10. But I mean, in some ways, despite the game, I mean, being finished out 40-22, and for the Chiefs to not even cross midfield in this game until their 10th drive with under 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter, which, by the way, they finally get their first set of points in this ball game. I mean, that is just unheard of. They had definitely had the makings of Super Bowl 55, but on a historic level, you could also argue, I mean, Super Bowl 20, just like the Bears and Patriots. I mean, if you want to throw another one in there. I mean, it was just total domination. Another dominating game you could also throw in there. Raiders, the Los Angeles Raiders at the time, over the Washington Redskins, who were defending Super Bowl champions, looking to win back-to-back Super Bowl championships, saying a league record in turnover differential. They got destroyed and demolished. And Joe Theismann, who, by the way, was league MVP that year, came up brutally short in that game. 38-9, if I'm not mistaken, was the final score. That was in Super Bowl 18 in Tampa, Florida. But just watching this game right here, I mean, I had money on the Chiefs for ESPN Bet. And you could just definitely just watch throughout this game. I just felt like the way the Eagles were going to win this game, and I had a sinking feeling at time. I mean, that this game could get ugly in a hurry if the Chiefs are not careful. I did feel that at times. I'm pretty sure I said it on one of my previous episodes. But I do remember thinking that at times, you know, the Chiefs better be careful. I mean, it could get ugly in a hurry if they do not lock down. And sure enough, guess what happened? Now, the opening drive where the Eagles were threatening too, I mean, opening possession for Philadelphia, who actually was marching on their possession. Chiefs, who did win the coin toss in that game. The Eagles were all the way down to like they marched pretty much from Jalen Hurts threw a pass to A.J. Brown for 32 yards, but there was a penalty on A.J. Brown for offensive pass interference. 10 yards was enforced. They had the pump from their own 40-yard line. Chiefs would get the ball at the 12-yard line. But anyway, speaking of one historical fact, coin toss, by the way, too, as it looks right now, teams who have won the coin toss have not done successful winning the Super Bowls in this contest right now, as they are now 26-33 all time. The team who wins the coin toss usually ends up losing the Super Bowl. And now you got to really start thinking right now. I mean, just everything is just kind of just went out the window just by how the Eagles showed their dominating performance. Jalen Hurts, who actually goes on, congratulations for winning the Super Bowl MVP. He makes history in this game. He breaks his own record in the way in the history of mobile quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. He is the all-time single yard rushing yards leader in the Super Bowl game, 72 yards, which he had 2 more yards in his last Super Bowl 2 years ago. And third on that list is Patrick Mahomes with 66 yards. followed by Steve McNair, Colin Kaepernick, Joe Montana, Steve Young, Cam Newton, Patrick Mahomes, and Russell Wilson. Those are the top 10 right there. So he definitely made some big time history right here. And just, I mean, all credits to the Philadelphia Eagles organization. You think they would have their guy in Carson Wentz, who was a league MVP favorite back in 2017 before his injury. And you had Nick Foles, an original drafted quarterback, come in and finish the deal with the Philly specials. That one was remembered. I mean, Carson Wentz was not nearly the same guy as he was a few years later. Actually moved on from him, traded him to the Colts, and then found his way to a couple other teams. Even as far as recently as the Chiefs right now, who used the backup quarterback to Patrick Mahomes, loses to his former team behind Patrick. And just to roll the dice. I mean, just get a makeover here. I mean, just the owner of this team right now. When you really think about it, I mean, everything going on. I mean, with Jeffrey Lurie right now. I mean, just truly, just having his GM. I mean, just basically just do everything he can to like really get this going. I mean, Howie Roseman, who had one of the best off seasons right here, especially the most notable one, being Saquon Barkley. Definitely truly invested their money in the offense and it just paid dividends here. Now, you look at it right now. I mean, where do the Chiefs go from here? I mean, the Eagles right now. Does this? I mean, what they really proved. Do they have a chance of repeating right now? I mean, right now the current odds shows the Philadelphia Eagles as the favored odds right now. Uh, as we look into it, and this is coming up right now. As reported by DraftKings, and of course Vegas right now. As we look at Philadelphia Eagles at plus 600, Kansas City Chiefs come up with second at plus 700. Baltimore Ravens at plus 700. Bills at plus 700 as well. They got the Detroit Lions at fifth at plus 900. Some other notable ones too to finish out the top 10. You got the San Francisco 49ers plus 1,500. The Bengals at plus 1,800. Washington Commanders are plus 1,900 as well as Green Bay Packers at plus 1,900. So I'm not really going to sell into that. We got a whole year. And just once again, it goes to show you, too. I mean, just health can make you or break you. And just play calling, the proper play calling could just really just be the difference here. Now, I mean, what was a key moment in this game, real quick? I would definitely say the knockout was definitely delivered with 2:40 to go in the third quarter when Hurts delivered a 46-yard bomb to Devontae Smith, 34 zip. But I would argue, too, I mean, aside from that, I'll give you one more moment of the game where you knew where they had him staggered. It was just about over. I'll definitely go with the pick six that Patrick Mahomes threw when he was in his own territory once again, in their own territory throughout the whole first half. It was intercepted at the Chiefs 38. Cooper DeJean, he returned it for a 38-yard pick six, blown up 17 to zip right there. And that was just pretty much, I felt right there was just like they sent a strong message that right there, you're going to have to do a Herculean effort to come back and try and win this game. I mean, you could just sense it real quick here. I mean, all the Eagles defensive players who got in on the fumble here. You got Josh Sweat with 2.5 sacks. Shared with Hunt with half a sack. Yeah, Jordan Davis with 1. Milton Williams with 2. I mean, all just being dominated by their defensive front real quick here. Just everything went in it. I mean, and Jalen Hurts, I mean, just who had Saquon Barkley, he having his back, he stepped up big time in this game too. So pretty much, his took care of his tag team partner in this game and picked up rushing yards, and just an unbelievable performance right here. Now, where does this leave Kansas City Chiefs right now, as well as the GOAT legacy for Patrick Mahomes right now? As we look at, as far as being measured, as far as like the greatest of all time. I mean, right now it still stands. I mean, Tom Brady is still the all-time leader in touchdown to interception ratio. He's thrown 21 touchdowns to 6 picks. Next up, Joe Montana, 11 touchdowns to 0 picks. And Patrick Mahomes, 10-7. Terry Bradshaw, 9-4, as well as Roger Staubach, 8-4. Steve Young, a perfect touchdown interception ratio in his own right, was 6. 6 touchdowns to 3 interceptions for Kurt Warner. 5-1 touchdowns interception ratios for each Troy Aikman and Brett Favre. But man, Patrick Mahomes right now, his 5th Super Bowl, he's already got 7 picks. He's got one more than Brady through. And granted, if the Chiefs would have held on 3-peated, they will join the Steelers as far as winning their 4th in 6 years. The only difference, they will have edged out the Steelers, in my opinion, they will have 3-peated in this contest. But for right now, listen, I'm not so sure if this leaves necessarily a big stain on Patrick Mahomes or Andy Reid's legacy alone, especially Patrick Mahomes right now. Just for the fact that each year they've been in the AFC championship game, each year always increasing their odds. But when are they going to finally stumble along the way to not having that bye? That's where you got to really, look at it right there. This is only probably what? When you look at the Chiefs run and what they've been able to do, since being in the Super Bowl or getting to the AFC championship game, they had to not worry about having that first round bye at least on 2 occasions back in 2021, 2023. But even still, each of those years, I think 2023 was the one they really were a frustrated season, really got pushed towards the edge. Especially how the Chiefs, ironically, last year were pitching and moaning, excuse my language, but all, the calls, they were getting frustrated with the refs. Including one late Sunday afternoon game against the Buffalo Bills, which wiped out a game-winning touchdown, which Patrick Mahomes totally went off on the field and after the game, and how frustrated he was. But they were able to still manage to band together, beating the Dolphins in the wild card round, going to Buffalo and Baltimore to get to the Super Bowl and a win in Vegas to become the second back-to-back champions in this millennium since the Patriots did. And once again, another team trying to 3-peat, and they failed to do so. Definitely, I think for right now, you look at the Eagles right now, they're definitely, right now, the blueprint, how you could operate behind a mobile quarterback and finally knock down the door for all the guys before. When you think about the Michael Vicks, the Lamar Jackson, the Michael Vicks, the Randall Cunninghams, or even the Steve McNairs of the world. You could probably argue Steve Young in that category on a technicality. He definitely ran a lot, but the question is, was he necessarily a run-first quarterback, or yellow Russell Wilson? There have been mobile quarterbacks able to do it, but run first, then passing. Bottom line is, they did it. It was a significant moment. And right now, Patrick Mahomes' record as a starting counting the playoffs, nearly identical to Brady's. He has a 106-27 record, as Brady was 104-29 for the same number of career starts. Uh, both sat on the bench behind hard luck number one overall picks, which Tom Brady had to sit behind Drew Bledsoe in New England and Alex Smith in Kansas City before winning 3 Super Bowls quickly. Brady named four seasons to it, Mahomes 6. And like I said, I'm not really that worried about this hurrying Patrick Mahomes. But as I always continue to say this saying too, like Sting once said, one thing's for sure, nothing's for sure. I used to have that same mindset with the Pittsburgh Penguins in hockey under Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin under Mike Sullivan. I mean, they had a span where they made the playoffs for like 16 straight years, which was a record in the top 10 as far as like playoff streaks in the National Hockey League. My mindset was, I expect them to be there. Well, the last 2 seasons, they weren't there. Now, they came close from getting back there last season, but I mean, this is for like an organization that doubled down on keeping the guys, even like around Crystal Tane and other characters. Look at what happened. They are, I mean, just this is what happens when you double down too much and you start to see it, the things start to fold. How much more can you keep reinforcing that dam before it starts to cave in? I really do believe right now, I mean, one would think right now, do the Kansas City Chiefs, do they try and patch things up? Reach back out to Tyreek Hill. They try and bring him back. The guy who they traded away a couple of years ago. I mean, to the Miami Dolphins, does not seem like he's happy there with his situation, wants to be out. I think that's one guy to keep an eye out if I were to guess. I mean, other than that, just congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles organization. This is definitely an organization who, for the city of Philadelphia, from an outside perspective, has definitely got their hearts more broken than they have earned cheered success for that city, for that town. And let this be a lesson once again, too, for the Pittsburgh Steelers as well, too. You know what? Don't be thinking about state championships, battling when you're facing the Eagles. Well, the Eagles are also thinking that, but bigger picture in mind. I mean, I want to just close out with the Steelers real quick here. I mean, just the last decade. I mean, who they parted ways from, especially the last 10 years. I mean, you think of guys like LeGarrette Blount, who walked off when the game was still like nearing the end, who actually got released, went over to the Patriots, Super Bowl champion. A few years later, James Harrison, who asked for his release. After they have drafted T.J. Watt that same year, went over to the Patriots, was on a Super Bowl team, lost to the Eagles. Traded Antonio Brown to the Raiders, who eventually wound his way up with Brady and the Patriots, and then to the Bucs, wins the Super Bowl. Juju Smith-Schuster, who they elected not to re-sign after the 2021 season. He went to the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champion. And now Kenny Pickett, a guy who's not clearly in a proper headspace after being injured towards the end of last season, got traded away, and he's a Super Bowl champion behind Jalen Hurts on the Philadelphia Eagles, one of his teams he grew up cheering for as a fan. I mean, when you think of the term Mike Tomlin would always use, I'm going to give him a taste of his own medicine in this one. Sorry, Mike, but put this on yourself. We want volunteers, not hostages. And speaking of other Steelers news, before I close out here, Jerry Dulac seems to think that there might be a Najee Harris reunion with the Steelers. Not on the table just yet, but teams are searching for a running back, whether in free agency or the draft. Hope to find a player who possesses the three most essential and desirable elements for the position: productivity, durability, and dependability. Steelers have all three with Najee Harris, which surprisingly no other team in the NFL can claim. At the end of the day, he has earned his stripes by rushing for 1,000 yards in all four of his seasons. The only first one that I'd say was impressive was his very first year, where he got it in 16 games, not necessarily 17. But just to end out on this podcast, I know that before we get out here, we're going to still be keeping an eye on what's going to be happening with the quarterback room. Who are they going to choose between Justin Fields and Russell Wilson? Or they let both of them slip away for their fingers. They got to go elsewhere, whether it's in free agency or the draft. I mean, their wide receiver room. Is Deebo Samuel worth, bringing in Yellow and Cooper Kupp? Or, right now, too, Steelers, got to be thinking, watching this game, watching that defense in front of the Eagles, that's becoming more of an intriguing position to need, as Ray Fitzpatrick has been saying all along. Shortly after they got ousted from the playoffs, that was definitely a need. They haven't drafted a defensive lineman since Cam Hayward back in 2011. So to close out with this, I want to ask you, where do you rank this Eagles Super Bowl run, especially this year? Where does it rank in the all-time dominating efforts? Is this more like top 3, top 5, top 10? Feel free to let me know your response. But this is Charles Prodigy Richey here. Closing off for this podcast. You can follow me on X at MetaSteelCGR and on Instagram at MetaSteelNation. So I leave you. Don't be trolling, be rolling. Here we go, serious. Here we go. Thank you for watching the MetaSteel podcast with your host, Charles Prodigy Richey, here on YouTube. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And for all the latest MetaSteel podcast episodes, feel free to download them on Mixcloud, Anchor.fm, and SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts.